Let's take a look at the old dinosaur, Bitcoin. Alright guys, we're looking at the daily chart for Bitcoin, and the data I have is to about 6:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on December the 30th. The last couple of days after Bitcoin ran up and retested 52,000, it started this pullback. But yesterday when we look at Bitcoin, I continue to believe that Bitcoin would likely rebound and would retest 52,000 sometime next week, and I continue to believe that is going to be the case. Today, Bitcoin is recovering nicely, and it's right now trading at 47.2 or up about 1.7%. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart so that we can see how Bitcoin would likely do within the next couple of days, and then we'll go back and look at the daily as well as the weekly chart to see if we can project what sort of price Bitcoin would likely be trading at by the end of the first quarter of 2022. Alright, so this is the 4-hour chart. Bitcoin, after trying to retest this prior high at 52,000 and was not able to cross over that, get rejected and started this pullback. Price continued to trend lower following this descending wedge. Yesterday, it was trying to find support at 47.7, but then eventually get rejected. The price broke down, found support at 46,000 and bounced back. There are a couple of things that I like. First, the low here is still higher than this prior low. Second thing is, after this bounce back, we have this long-legged doji followed with a green candle and indications of a possible reversal in price. So the combination of these two provide us with a high degree of confidence that 46,000 is likely the bottom for this retracement, and we would likely see a rebound from this point. And after that, the price continued to trend higher, cross over the resistance of this descending triangle, ran up the minute it tested 47.7, got rejected. So now we are looking at Bitcoin retrace, consolidate, and in the process of likely run up and retest this again. On the 5-minute chart, Bitcoin dropped, found support at 46,000, started this reversal in price trending up following this upward trend line, broke out of the resistance of descending wedge, ran up, tested 47.7, get rejected, retraced the minute it's getting near this upward trend line. As you can see right now, it's starting to gather momentum and in the process of running up and retest this again. So this is what I think is going to happen in the short term as part of the breakout of this descending wedge. Bitcoin would likely retest 47.7 and then should be able to cross over that. Next major resistance would be at 48.5. Cross over 48.5, then we're looking at 49.5. This is going to be a very strong resistance. Cross over the 49.5, then we're looking at Bitcoin running up to our target price of 52,000. And I expect that to happen sometime next week. Under the worst case scenario, if Bitcoin has problem crossing over 47.7 and if the price gets rejected, there is a possibility that it could retest this prior low at 46, but I do expect 46 to be the bottom, and it would bounce up from this point and continue to follow my projection. I still believe that Bitcoin will reach 52,000 sometime next week. So the short term is definitely looking good. How about the long term? What would the price of Bitcoin be by the end of the first quarter of 2022? If we look at the daily chart, Bitcoin is still trending up following this upward trend line. Even during the May time frame, when we had this major breakdown in price, that Bitcoin dropped all the way down to about 28,000. But it's still following this upward trend line. Another thing that is really encouraging is looking at the moving averages. When we have this major breakdown in price, the red line, which is the 10-day, cross over and drop below the yellow line, which is the 200 days. And after that, we saw the price continue to trend lower. And now we have a similar situation. After reaching this all-time high, the price started to pull back. and the 10 days continued to trend downward. And at this point, it was almost to the point where it would cross over and drop below the 200 days. But so far, we were able to avoid that because there's buying support at this level. The price started to bounce up, which allowed the 10 days to reverse direction and continue to lead the 200 rather than cross over and lag the 200 days. So this is definitely a positive signal that the price would likely to bounce up from this point on. And the 10 days continue to trend up. Very soon, it will cross over and lead the 50 days. That would be a huge bull signal that I'm looking for, because if you look at this chart, every time when the 10 days cross over and lead the 50 days, the price trend up from that point. On the weekly chart, Bitcoin was in consolidations for a while, broke out, consolidates, and went on this really nice bull run. Ran all the way and established an all-time high at 65. Pulled back, following this downward channel, broke out. So if we look at this pattern, it was forming this very nice bull flag. This is the flagpole, this is the flag. So technically, the target for this breakout should take Bitcoin roughly to about 80,000. After that, we saw the price ran up to about 55,000, pull back, bounce up again, and ran to about 70,000. We see the same pullback, and now it is stabilizing and it is getting ready to bounce up again. Bitcoin is still within the uptrend as part of the breakout of this bull flag. So there's a very high probability that Bitcoin would continue to follow this sort of like upward channel. And the way I see is it would likely retest the all-time high at 70,000 sometime around the first quarter of 2022. And then run up and hit the target price of 80,000, possibly sometime during the second quarter. Go back to the daily chart, the Bollinger Band formed out very nicely. So in the short term, within the next 7 days, I expect Bitcoin to be trading at around 52,000. And in the long term, Bitcoin should trade at around 70,000 near the end of the first quarter, and then hit our target price of 80,000 during the second quarter of 2022. That's it for this video, and don't forget to click that like button and reward me with a like if you appreciate the content that I'm presenting. Also, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button and subscribe, and make sure you turn notification on. And if you have Twitter, make sure you follow me at Vietmaxim, because I provide constant update on all of our favorite cryptos.